All right, so it is Monday, March the 6th. I am here with Mr. Vanderhoop, and we are going to talk about his vision for something called the Psalms Café. How are you doing, Mr. Vanderhoop?
Fantastic.
It's
Bless the Lord.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure for you to be here with me. And can you please, before you even talk about your vision and your goal, tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, uh, I'm from Massachusetts. Uh, I was born in the 30s, right in the height of the Depression. Uh, I'll be hitting 93 April 15th. And thank you. And came to Petersburg about 32 years ago. Formerly, I was in Richmond and worked as a cook making cheesecake and pie dough in Richmond. And I had a blacksmith shop there, which I did historical ironwork for Legend Brewery in there. When they first opened, couldn't open until my ironwork was finished in the yard. Prior to that, I was the head cook at the Union Mission in Norfolk. And I worked also, I was there for 8 years. I opened 2 coffee houses there till they tore down the Granby Mall. I'm a born-again believer in Jesus Christ and try to run my life biblically. Old King James Bible. I've always been a multimedia artisan, and I've opened numerous coffee houses, one in San Francisco, one in Oregon, one in Washington. But my goal was to have one in every state. That didn't quite work out, but I managed a few. In my early beatnik days, Mean John and the Hip Bagel and the Haight Ashbury, in New York, and the Psalms Café in the corner of Haight and the Sonic in the San Francisco and the Haight Ashbury in the 60s. The 40s were my early beatnik days. And I've met some people here who knew me and came to the coffee houses in various other locations. All of them in Washington and Oregon and San Francisco and New York are still functioning. Other owners, of course, and the earliest ones I built the furniture and everything in it. Live music is always a part of my coffee house experiences. In other words, a place where people can meet and greet.
What is the Psalms Cafe?
Okay. Uh, Psalms Cafe is essentially a co-op. We don't really sell food. We sell memberships because a lot of our food I prefer to put out on the buffet and depends on donations because I'm mainly interested in feeding the homeless, the widows, the orphans, instead of a can opener that don't work and no place to cook it or hold it. It's everybody's kitchen. And we basically, Psalms Cafe is a place that we keep house, dedicated to feeding the hungry. Where I'd like to operate 24 hours so that families can always get food or people without. We accept any donation. The $12 membership fee means they don't have to carry money. They can buy daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. The basis of that is that we're okay if we can cover the overhead. In other words, I'm not looking for a personal bank account, don't need a jet plane. We're orientated towards the family. If we sell any alcohol, it's beer or wine with food only. Basically, I don't bother with, but you know, the production of those things are great arts, and of course, abusers abuse anything, and all things are pure to the pure in heart. Okay. Here in Petersburg, I like to share with the families that people have a place to meet and greet when they don't feel it's suitable at their homes because they have to clean up and they've worked all day or worked all night. But we are there, depending on the public, if we do good, to support us. And I have no doubt. I take thanks, my income alone. If, it's all based on those who want to see it happen. I'm trying to get it going on just my own income, uh, and I'm short $500 a month, and the amount of first month's rent, last month's rent, and the month's security rent to satisfy the property owners, and they would like me to have a 3-year lease. The building I'm after is not far from here. It's small, has a nice courtyard. It's to serve the community. Plus, being a craftsman and knowing other craftsmen and people can buy, sell, trade, barter, or if they're just homeless and hungry, don't go hungry. We always have food. We're open 3 8-hour shifts to provide jobs for people as well, and training in the art of Psalms Café, the art of coffee house. Generally, a cup of coffee now is $3.25. Well, my coffee is $1.50. And if you don't have $1.50, have some coffee. If we're supposed to be there and really a service, we'll be supported. I'm trying to get it so there are 12 full-time memberships where people are concessionaires that generally, and those will be offered at a month's rent in advance, which entitles them then to have the same food privileges. We'll have things like horseshoes, darts, something they can bring their computer, or I have a great library of books of art, science, history. Books are always a good thing. Or they can be on the internet and have a nice meeting place. We intend to have live music because musicians need a place to play and earn a living. A lot of my friends are musicians. And a lot of my other friends are painters, artists. As a matter of fact, one who came to visit me in the nursing home was has an exhibit here, Light Body. I don't know if you know him. Next Friday, his posters are around. There's a poster of him in the front window. He's having an art exhibit. I've worked for a lot of people in Petersburg, sort of maybe 10 years ago, because now I'm not as fit as I used to with climbing roofs and being on ladders. But, you know, I've worked as a general contractor here, and for other, Randy Haas was a major contractor here. The building I'm after is next to his building on Market Street. Also, the top floor of the electric building has a studio, because now I'm into oils, pastels, watercolors, painting, canvases, and etch glass. And the many other trades I can share and report to others that are looking for some type of trade or craft area. But generally a place the community will enjoy coming.
A place of community. That is excellent. And I mean, obviously, you just laid out the whole entire vision that you have.
I have it on paper a dozen times, in a dozen different ways, if anyone cares to look at it.
We might care to look at it. We would love to look at it.
We would like to have people to help basically keep the overhead, whatever the fuel, whatever the lights, whatever. I put my entire income down. I need, I'm $500 short. But if I get into the building, then I propose to them that I give him the $1,000 to first, and then 2 weeks later, $500 for my other. But they want the big loan.
what I want to make sure we get across is that you already laid down the pathwork. You've done all the work. You just need members and donations.
Yeah, right. Members, every time they pay $1.50 to come in, they have a free buffet. But we also have food that's donated by various places, Walmart, and some things we buy, but some of our suppliers, where they have goods they donate. So we always have free meals. No one has to go without. The donations are for the whole package, because as a member, we cut out a lot of restrictions government has. So,
Is this a nonprofit?
yes, I haven't applied for a nonprofit status or anything, because, it's nonprofit if you live on donations.
Right, right.
And I use my personal income, that, and once I'm there, what the monthly, it's $18,000 for a year's rent. Uh, and that's less than $80 a day. And if you can't make $80 in three 16-hour shifts, which comes out to about $5 an hour. Now, whether I do that or not, in the first and the middle of the month, I have enough to pay it myself. I just don't have that lump sum to get in. I have plenty of equipment. I've worked in about all the restaurants here in Old Town, and some that aren't here anymore. This one, I used to roast coffee when it was Java Mio. Now it's this wonderful Italian restaurant that has one of the nicest patios in the city of Petersburg, in Old Town. And they're great cooks. It's a family business. Wonderful service people here who are family to him. The Rodolfo, and I'm basically trying to take up a tag for those who work late, who work in establishments, and when they get off, they don't want to go right home. They want a place to have a coffee or a place to socialize with friends and not have to clean up. Part of our menu is you can order from any place that will deliver. If you don't like our food, which is basically soups, sandwiches, and salads, clubs, subs, hoagies, and heroes. Always got chili, and there's 24-hour breakfast. The standard cornbread, homemade biscuits, muffins, bacon, and various typical breakfast, pancakes, eggs, any style, omelets, breakfast. The kitchen is my forte. It's the only one that can hold my critical desire for variety. In the kitchen contains everything every other business contains. Between the equipment and what it's made of and what it needs for maintenance and care, and so is an important part. An hour and a half out of each 8-hour shifts is dedicated for total cleaning, so you can learn the real trade of cleaning, not just wiping surfaces off, because you have to be careful of what materials things are made of. So it's an art. And so this is part of the art of coffee house. Coffee house is basically an establishment with a few good housekeepers that keep the table stocked and do it not as a job, but as something they like to do. There should be 12 major ones to help maintain the overhead, because the more people that are paying the overhead, we don't have to have $2.25 cup of coffee.
Number one, I want to hear about your past, because you said you founded Psalms Cafe in several different localities, right?
Right.
I looked up some of them. There's a lot of things called Psalms Cafe. Are you involved in all of those?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was looking up, because what happened is a friend of mine, she owns the Dixie Diner, the property, went with her boyfriend on a road trip or something. They went to San Francisco. She took pictures and stuff, and came back and showed me and said, this is, I recognized the background more or less, and then there was this fellow with afro out front leading it, and she identified that along with me at Psalms Café in San Francisco on the corner of Haight and Masonic. It has not changed. I had a leather shop next door because I used to make leather clothing and bead high top sneakers to look like moccasins and other crafts. I built all the furniture in that Psalms Cafe. And the big change was they built the microbrewery in the basement. But it's still there to this day. Now, at the time, I never knew of any other Psalms Cafes. So I could not tell which ones were which. If someone modeled after it, because it was, I didn't like to trademark the name because it's already trademarked. It's in the Book of Psalms, and I had 153 keys to represent the 150 different different kind of keys to represent the 150 Psalms. If I could build a cafe with how that spiritually fed me, physically representing it in food with plates that look like a Bible. No, he didn't. No, but represent uh, what the Psalms did for me in another medium to express it in food or poetry or, a good atmosphere and comfortable environment that everybody will want to take everybody there and enjoy the hospitality of the house.
Thank you. And last thing I wanted to ask you to expound upon is something that really hit me when you said it when we first met, talking about the Psalms Cafe. You said, if not religiously, then relationship inspired. Everything you said thus far was about community building of the arts, teaching people, reaching people. Just, end our conversation with a little bit of wisdom about what Psalms Cafe means to you and what it could mean to Petersburg.
Hmm. If you must have information, let it be the right information. So I can only pass on in my 93 years what I have learned and found to be faithful and true. And that's what turned me from my own mind and the world, the flesh, and the devil is the word that I hold as faithful and true, the word of God. The God, the invisible God, made manifest in his word. And we all have it, and we all must come to a decision of what we will choose to believe. And as that scripture says very simply, what you choose to believe, let that save you. So, believing that we all need some saving, we want to have a testable, examinable truth that always works, and that is not just my own mind. And so I do listen and consult and observe other preachers, proclaimers. Preaching is just proclaiming that which you know, whether it's the menu or the book or the street address, or we formulate pictures with words. So to give an accurate picture of my 92 years life experience, that if there's anything in it that can benefit you or benefit those other imprints of the invisible God, if you lay down in the sand, you'll see the exact replica of the living God imprinted and made flesh. He's the only one that can breathe a soul into it. And like Christ said, you want to see the Father? I'm the exact replica of the Father. We were made for God's company. And so we're being purified to be able to be in the presence of absolute righteousness. So.
I appreciate you greatly. Thank you for spending this time with me.
Yeah.
Thank you for consenting to this interview. Yeah. And I'm going to put this on out, and hopefully this inspires some people to help us make your goal into a reality. I'm very excited about it.
Members, co-workers. So it's not just, I don't need to own anything, but I will find the means. Maybe this young lady can help me outline a means to make it so no one person owns it. but it can be passed on. You can sell those 12 can sell their share, and all they have to do is help 12 people, and I've got 900, and it's 1,500 a month, say 2,000, 12, 13 people, paying $2,000 a month is what? If you do nothing but have a comfortable living room and someone taking care of it, and reading place, and good, because I'm a great cook. I've worked in many types in the country and out of the country, so my experience knows. So I'm familiar with French, Italian, German, Polish, Native American, Caribbean, and Asian cuisines. The kitchen is as much a workshop for me as my blacksmith shop was, as my woodworking shop was, as my candle making was, as all the crafts that I have done and made my living. So I'm hoping that it will work out. It's not going to get easier because we're in a recession, but this can help alleviate the pressures that we're all going to face. And if there's more members, every member makes it less expensive for every other member.
That much easier.
And what I do is keep house. You're able to come and examine the house, and you'll come back. You know, if it's right, you'll come back. You ain't going to no restaurant that the food ain't no good. Mine's mentally, physical, and spiritual.
Thank you. Thank you.
And pizza is here.
Yes.